Lately I've been going around asking people if they believe in the law of karma. You know, what comes around goes around. You give what you get, that kind of thing. And for the most part, I get affirmative answers. I've been getting affirmative answers. But then when I ask about what about the random things that seem to happen in life that are beyond our control, it starts getting a little fuzzy for some people. I noticed. Well, most of them, just about all of them. Although a lot of them didn't admit that it was fuzzy for them, or those were mostly the religious people hiding behind their shield of religion because they honestly don't know what karma is truly all about. And it's hard to say because, there's so much randomness seemingly that goes on in this world. And it seems as if there's two kind of karmas. There's willful karma and there's random karma, I guess, if you want to call it that. I mean, what else can it be called? Things that seem to be beyond our control. And so that got me to thinking. First of all, we'll talk about willful karma. For instance, like you get up in the morning and you think to yourself, and technically, in theory, according to all the spiritual gurus and experts, a person's personal karma, whatever happens to him, stems from his very own mind. So, when you think about the willful karma, it's like, okay, you get up in the morning and you think to yourself, I gotta go to work. I'm gonna go to work. You're willfully thinking, I'm gonna go to work. So you will yourself to get up and you go to work, right? That's willing events to happen at the level of the individual. But those kind of willful events are pretty limited. And here's what I mean. Like, you can do the willful thing. I got to get up. I got to go to work. Get in your car, start your car. And as what was revealed to me by a coworker today, last week, her battery was dead. And she was 4 hours late to work because it took that long to get her battery replaced and her car back on the road. And that's happened to me. But, see, that's what I'm talking about, the random karma. The random karma. And I got to thinking about it. And I thought to myself, well, what if events that happen to us, things, circumstances and whatnot, really flow from our minds? And obviously, if they do, these thoughts that are flowing from our minds going out into the ether to create our karma and our circumstances for us, it obviously has to mingle with other people's thought energies that are being projected out there and whatnot. Which reminds me, speaking of the girl whose battery was dead, I can recall one day I'm on my way to work and I had to get up early, extra early, to get to work at about 5:30, between 5:30 and 6 in the morning. And so I'm on the road, and there's really not much traffic at that time in the morning. So I stop at a traffic light, and I'm waiting on a light to change, and boom, I get rear-ended. And needless to say, I was pretty peed off about it. But the dude that rear-ended me, he was very cooperative. He was humble, and we exchanged information and whatnot. And he admitted fault. And I got my car fixed, my rear bumper, and all that. I wasn't hurt or anything like that. And I kid you not, after I got my car fixed, another situation arose where I had to go to work that early again. And I'm on the same stretch of road, and I see hazard lights on in the distance. Obviously, there's a car stopped. And it's dark outside at that time of morning anyway. It's dark outside, and I passed by, and I kid you not, that same guy that rear-ended me, he rear-ended another person in that exact same identical spot. On that intersection, at the intersection of Highway 969 and 973, on that same side of the road, in that same lane that he rear-ended me at that same traffic light. He rear-ended somebody else. How's that for karma, huh? Wonder what kind of thoughts that dude thinks. I mean, really? The exact same accident in the exact same spot. Lightning strikes twice. It's amazing. And I've seen interesting things like that as far as karma goes. But when we talk about the willful karma, you like another example, you think to yourself, I got to get up, I got to go, wash the dishes or what have you, cook dinner. You get up and do it. So you thought about it, it happened in real-time reality. But again, there's other things that go on. Like the phone might ring and interrupt your flow when you're trying to get things done. That seems to be the random karma. So, what I was thinking, what I was proposing, is it really possible to have a level of willful karma that you control even things that seem beyond your control? Is that really possible? I mean, technically, if you look at the mechanics of how karma is supposed to work, technically it should be possible. But for whatever reason, I mean, I don't know nobody that's pulling it off. I mean, for whatever reason, everybody that I know and have been in touch with seem to be at the mercy of the randomness of karma, things beyond their control. But what if it correlates to our thinking that we don't control? You know what I mean? For instance, like, I control my thinking when I'm thinking about having to get up, having to go to work. Okay, such and such a time, it's time for me to get on the PC and do some work. I get up and I do it. But what about the other parts, the other times, which is pretty much all the time, when the mind is constantly flowing just with random thoughts, and you might think of something that happened yesterday, and then you think of something that might happen tomorrow, and you're just randomly thinking, and your mind is just randomly spewing out thoughts that you're not controlling. What if our random karma has to do with that, not being fully in control of our thought processes? For instance, If we were able to quiet our minds, to stop that random flow of thought processes, and a lot of it is negative anyway. If you really think about it, a lot of the random thoughts that flow are negative. A lot of it stirs up hurtful emotions, and we're not controlling it. It's just on automatic pilot. What if that's the reason why things and events seem to happen beyond our control? Could that be possible? Tell you what, I'm working to find out. That's for sure. I'm working, and I've been having some pretty good successes of keeping my mind quiet so only my willful thoughts get projected out into the ether. And I've been getting paid some pretty good dividends as a result. My greatest challenge is being around other people, because I do believe that our auras, when you're close enough to another person, your aura intermingles with another person's aura. And that can work so many ways to your advantage, and it could also work so many ways to your detriment, depending on how much negative energy a person houses in his system. If your aura intermingles with somebody that's truly, truly negative, that can throw off your karma, I believe. But if you have a strong aura that radiates outward, radiates light outward, whereas I believe negativity in the aura acts more like a vacuum and, has like a sucking action that drains you. That's what I believe. But if you have a strong aura that radiates outward, and it would be nice if it was totally void of negativity, then it, in theory, should push the negative energy from another person's aura out from you, away from you. It should repel that negative energy, technically. But again, those are side thoughts. But what if the random series of events that seem to happen in our lives happen because of our thought processes, the part that we don't control, which is probably a good 90% of the day? Our minds are just flowing freely, randomly, out of control, and a lot of it is negative, worrisome, badgering type thoughts. What if that's why events seem to happen out of the blue randomly to us? Now, I tell you what, I've encountered some people. I just told you about that guy that rear-ended me and rear-ended somebody else in the same spot, but I've actually encountered some pretty uncannily accident-prone people. Just amazing. I've encountered some people that I've thought often, how are you still here? Just perpetual, seemingly random bad luck. I mean, I've encountered people that seem to have good luck pretty often too. It's like, what are y'all doing? But I just mentioned the whole thing about quieting the mind so only your purposeful thoughts get projected out in the ether. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to truly be in control of karma, your personal karma, at a greater level. And you can be able to even foretell your future, so to speak, because you're thinking your future into existence, like being a psychic. But first things first, we got to understand how to tame and calm and quiet down the mind so that our willful thoughts and our prayers can get out into the ether, not be interfered with, and work on our behalf. That's the challenge. And that's what I'm working on. And that's even one of the things that this book is about. The Power of Spiritology by Dario Thomas. It's on sale at Amazon.com. It can show you, give you techniques on how to quiet the mind so that you can willfully think. And you know what's interesting? If you're able to quiet your mind to the degree that you can quiet your mind, to that same degree your thinking becomes more constructive or positive, or however you want to say it. To the degree that you don't control your mind, to that same degree do you have negativity and doubt that creep in to circumvent your willful thinking, your wanting things to go right. But you can experiment with karma. I think it would be a cool thing to do, a fun thing to do. Experiment with your very own karma. Learn how to quiet your mind and just put your willful, purposeful thoughts out in the ether and see how that works out. And the book, The Power of Spiritology, can give you several ways to do that. So get the book. Again, it's on sale at Amazon.com. I'm Dario Thomas. This is the Spiritology Television Network. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Recommend it to a friend who you think could benefit from these lessons. Thank you for listening. And God bless.